Hello, hello. Welcome to ToLaw. My name is Alexis McNally. I'm a Haitian American human rights lawyer. This video is the latest in a series entitled Haiti Watch, where I'll be covering some of the latest developments in Haiti and giving some context for the maneuvers that are happening on the international stage. Today, I'll be discussing the new Presidential Council being developed and supported by the United States and other nations, upon which no person can sit who opposes the Kenya-led intervention in Haiti. Let's jump right in. Discussions of this Transitional Presidential Council first started emerging in early March 2024. On Tuesday, March 5th, Ariel Henry, the Prime Minister of Haiti, found himself locked out of his country after traveling to Kenya to salvage plans for an armed intervention in Haiti. Leading up to March 5th, there was an uptick in violence in the capital. Gangs in Port-au-Prince conducted coordinated attacks on police stations, prisons, critical infrastructure, and civilian sites in the city. The alliance forged by these gangs is called Vivre Ensemble, or Live Together, and they demanded Ariel Henry's resignation. But individuals in the international community had already begun losing faith in Henry. Some CARICOM leaders had called for Henry to resign, saying that he was part of the problem and a stumbling block to progress. It's very important to note that many of the Haitian people already opposed Ariel Henry because, amongst other things, his prime ministership was unconstitutional. Former Haitian President Jovenel Moïse nominated Ariel Henry to the post of prime minister just 2 days prior to his assassination, but he did not formally install Ariel Henry. Mr. Henry's appointment failed to comply with several constitutional provisions. Additionally, Jovenel Moïse's presidency was also viewed by many as illegitimate and corrupt. He was a wildly unpopular president who was heavily protested by the Haitian people. He postponed parliamentary and local elections and ruled by decree during his last year in office. Nevertheless, the core group, led by the United States government, helped install Moïse's pick, Ariel Henry, as prime minister and continued to support him, despite public outrage and his implication in Moïse's assassination. It's also important to note that Henry, Moïse, and Moïse's predecessor, Michel Martelly, are all associated with the same political party, the PHTK, which is tied to gangs. They're all accused of credible claims of corruption and are all individuals who enjoyed the support of core group members, particularly the United States. But by Tuesday, March 5th, the core group's support for Ariel Henry dramatically shifted. On March 5th, despite Henry coordinating with Dominican officials to land at the Dominican Republic and take a helicopter into Haiti, mid-flight, the DR refused to allow Henry's plane to land, and he ended up flying into Puerto Rico, where he was greeted by U.S. government officials. As Henry awaited permission to deplane, several CARICOM leaders met over Zoom with opposition leaders in Haiti, where they discussed Henry's resignation. Then, at a closed-door UN Security Council meeting the very next day, March 6th, the U.S. is believed to have pitched a proposal for a new government structure in which a new prime minister and presidential board would lead a transition to elections and prepare for the Kenya-led armed intervention. While all of this is unfolding behind the scenes, publicly, the U.S. government is denying that it is pressuring Henry to resign or that it played any part in blocking Henry's return to Haiti.
Has the U.S. asked the Haitian Prime Minister to step aside?
I'm sorry?
Has the United States asked the Haitian Prime Minister to step down? There was a report this morning.
What we've asked the Haitian Prime Minister to do is move forward on a political process that will lead to the establishment of a presidential transitional council that will lead to elections. And we think that is urgent. That it's urgent that he moves forward in that direction and start the process of bringing normalcy back to the people of Haiti.
This is one of our first public messages about this presidential council. Note that the U.S. ambassador says that the United States is not pressuring Henry to resign, but that they are asking him to move forward with the process that will lead to his removal.
So earlier today, Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield said that the U.S. has asked the Prime Minister to, quote, move forward in a political process that will lead to the establishment of a presidential transitional council that will lead to elections. So I just want to clarify, does that mean a resignation? Did the U.S. government ask him to resign directly?
So a couple of things. We are definitely not pushing the Prime Minister to resign. That is not what we're doing, but we have underscored that now is the time to finalize a political accord to help set Haiti on a path to a better future. And that is something that we've been working on for some time. We've been working on that with the CARICOM, so that is nothing new. We've had those conversations, and also the Haitian partners on the path to restoring democratic order in Haiti through free and fair elections, inclusive governance, and power sharing. This will give the people an opportunity to democratically elect their prime minister. Again, this has been a conversation that we've had with Haitian partners, CARICOM, for some time now, so that is not new, and we certainly are not pushing him to resign.
Even though you're not directly calling on him to resign, can you just discuss the timing of why you're encouraging of this transitional government now? And also, because obviously the White House has long resisted specifically pushing for his resignation, even if you aren't doing it now. So can you just talk about the timing of this encouragement of why you're doing everything the way you are right
So again,
now?
we're not pushing, as you just stated in your question, for the Prime Minister to resign. This has been a long time conversation that we have had with our Haitian partners, with CARICOM, on making sure that there was a path to restoring democratic order. So that has been consistent with what we've been trying to do for some time now. And we believe, it is the Haitian people, they need to have an opportunity to democratically elect their prime minister. And so there needs to be a plan in place, obviously, to do that. And so that's what we're encouraging. But we've been having these conversations for some time now.
Just to button up one thing on Haiti about the prime minister being in Puerto Rico, just to clarify, he's there on his own volition, or is the United States providing aid and comfort?
So we are not providing any assistance to help the Prime Minister certainly return to Haiti. We're not going to speak to his travel. That is something for him to speak to.
As far as you know, he's just enjoying the sights.
That's for him. That's one way to put it. That's for him to speak to. All right.
The Miami Herald broke the story that the U.S. actually was pushing Ariel Henry to resign. Let me be clear. No tears are being shed for Ariel Henry. He should never have been the Prime Minister of Haiti. The point here is that we are actually watching in real time as other countries coordinate to remove the executive of another country. Imagine if other countries got together and removed the President of the United States, or France, or the Prime Minister of Canada or England. This kind of foreign interference, manipulation, and control should not happen to a sovereign nation, but we have seen it happen time and time again to Haiti at the behest of members of the core group. The reason why the second reporter had to ask whether Ariel Henry was in Puerto Rico of his own volition is because this whole situation looks strikingly similar to the one 20 years ago when the first freely elected president of Haiti, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, claims he was overthrown and kidnapped by the United States and held against his will in the Central African Republic. It appears that the members of the core group, the self-titled Friends of Haiti, are using the same playbook. It is true that the US and other countries have been publicly encouraging Ariel Henry to take steps to transition for some time, but they also continued to support him for almost 3 years while he made no serious efforts to hold elections or mitigate the suffering of the Haitian people. And a big question is why these steps right now? A little less than a week after these press conferences, we get this video of Ariel Henry saying that he will resign. Note that he doesn't actually resign right then and there. He says he will resign after the Presidential Council is selected. This is important because we do see him making moves to prolong his stay in office even after April 12th, when the Presidential Council was formed. Also note that hours before Ariel's resignation, CARICOM had already put out a statement saying that he would resign and that a new presidential council was being formed. Again, we're seeing this foreign coercion, manipulation, and control over Haiti. How is an external body made up of other governments putting out a statement to the world saying that a leader of another country is going to resign before the leader has even communicated that message to his people? Quick note, I have noticed that there are lots of people in the comments who have the fire to mobilize. If you want to make your voice heard and protest against the Kenya-led intervention, join Komakota, the Committee to Mobilize Against Dictatorship in Haiti, on May 23rd. They will be protesting outside of the White House, Kenya, and Haiti embassies during Kenya President William Ruto's visit to D.C. If you're in New York, they are organizing a bus. I'll leave a link to this information down below. In the days following the uptick in gang violence, CARICOM, the Caribbean community, was involved in discussions with Brazil, Canada, France, Mexico, the United Nations, and the United States of America. We can consider this to be the latest manifestation of the core group. They apparently included a wide range of Haitian stakeholders in these discussions, but we don't exactly know who. These discussions were not transparent. All we know is that by March 11th, a plan has been agreed to by the core group and whatever Haitians they chose to include in their discussions. CARICOM puts out an outcome declaration that lays out the structure for this new presidential council.
Today, CARICOM convened the Haitian stakeholders and the following international development partners: Brazil, Canada, France, Mexico, United Nations, and the United States of America, to discuss the multidimensional crisis in Haiti. This meeting followed a series of discussions over a period of time, including those facilitated by the Eminent Persons Group, which engaged a wide range of actors, including Haitian politicians, political parties, the religious community, private sector, the diaspora, and civil society. We are pleased to announce the commitment to a transitional governance arrangement, which paves the way for a peaceful transition of power, continuity of governance, an action plan for near-term security, and the road to free and fair elections. It further seeks to assure that Haiti will be governed by the rule of law. This commitment reflects hard compromises among a diverse coalition of actors who have put their country above all differences. To that end, we acknowledge the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry upon the establishment of a Transitional Presidential Council and the naming of an interim Prime Minister. I want to pause and thank Prime Minister Henry for his service to Haiti, his service to the Haitian people, and for his personal commitment for the furtherance of the development of Haiti and the advancement of the people of Haiti. And I ask us to give him an applause. And the following is agreed: the creation of a Transitional Presidential Council comprised of 7 voting members and 2 non-voting observers. The 7 voting members will comprise 1 representative from each of the following groups: Collective, December 21st, EDE/Red, Lavalas, Montana, Pitit, Desalin, and the private sector. The non-voting members will be represented by 1 member from civil society and 1 member of the interfaith community. The council will exercise specified presidential authorities during the transition, operating by majority vote. The exclusion from the Transitional Presidential Council of anyone who is currently on a charge, indictment, or has been convicted in any jurisdiction, anyone who is under UN sanction, anyone who intends to run in the next election in Haiti, anyone who opposes the UN Security Council Resolution 2699. The Transitional Presidential Council will swiftly select and appoint an interim Prime Minister. The Transitional Presidential Council will, together with the interim Prime Minister, appoint an inclusive Council of Ministers. The Transitional Presidential Council will hold the relevant and possible powers of the Haitian presidency during the transition period until an elected government is established. The Transitional Presidential Council will undertake the following: appoint an inclusive Council of Ministers, co-sign the orders, decrees, and to sign off on the agenda of the Council of Ministers, set the essential criteria for the selection of an impartial Provisional Electoral Council, and establish the Provisional Electoral Council. Make arrangement for a peaceful transition, ensure continuity of governance, and establish a National Security Council. Continue collaboration with all members of the international community for the accelerated deployment of the multinational security support mission authorized by UNSCR 2699/2023. It is agreed that the implementation of these measures will be concluded in parallel. The parties also make specific individual commitments regarding principles of inclusion, integrity, restoration of peace, and orderly transition of power. These shared and individual commitments can represent important steps towards facilitating increased humanitarian access to help ease the suffering of the Haitian people. The international community stands ready to partner with Haiti to achieve these goals. Haitian participants must now fully implement their commitments. Haitians deserve a country where children can go to school and their parents know they will be safe. We commend the willingness and courage of Haitian stakeholders to commit to put Haiti back on a path towards democracy, stability, and prosperity. With a framework in place that illuminates a path forward, it is incumbent upon all Haitians to give the agreement a chance to work. And we implore all parties, all stakeholders, all Haitians to be patient. This process requires patience. Let us be patient. Let us give a bit. Let us sacrifice a bit and give this agreement a chance to work. To enter into a process of national dialogue and to lay the groundwork for a transition that is based on inclusivity, encourages participation by all stakeholders, and paves the way for elections as soon as possible. This is the only sustainable path to a future of strong democratic institutions, peaceful resolution of conflict, and security and prosperity of all Haitians.
A few things happening here. First, they effectively fire Ariel Henry. This is the outcome declaration that comes hours before Henry's own resignation. They give him some applause and they move on. Note that Ariel Henry is not present at these negotiations. They don't bother to fly him in from Puerto Rico, and it appears that he truly has just been sidelined by the core group. Second, we're told that the Transitional Presidential Council is going to have 9 members, comprised of 7 voting members and 2 non-voting members. We'll dig into these members and the interests they represent in a moment. Third, we're told that this council will exercise specified presidential authorities during the transition and operate by majority vote. We don't know what those presidential authorities, those powers are, because this council is unconstitutional. We don't know if they are only going to exercise the powers of the president as outlined in the Haitian Constitution. Next, we're given a list of characteristics for people who could never sit on the council. The key one to note is that no one can sit on the council who opposes the armed invasion that is being backed by the US and UN and led by Kenya. Check out my video link below for more information about this mission. We're also told that the council is going to select an interim prime minister and that the presidential council and that prime minister are then going to appoint a separate council of ministers. No information about the composition, powers, and role of the council of ministers is provided in this document. The Presidential Council is also apparently going to select a Provisional Electoral Council and a National Security Council, and make way for the accelerated deployment of the armed foreign intervention. Lastly, we are boldly and forcefully told that this is the only sustainable path to a future for Haiti. We are commanded to accept this machination for a new Haitian government that was developed outside of Haiti by foreign powers, largely the exact same powers that have brought Haiti to this dire situation in the first place. The members of the Presidential Council were supposed to be selected within 24 to 48 hours of this outcome declaration, as estimated by the U.S. State Department. It ended up taking almost a month for all members to be selected. Infighting, security concerns, and constitutional challenges caused many setbacks over the last few weeks. The current members of the Presidential Council are Fritz Alphonse with the Montana Accord Group, Leslie Voltaire with the Fanmi Lavalas political party, Laurent St-Cyr with the private sector, Gerald Gilles with the December 21st Agreement political group, Edgard Leblanc with the January 30 political group, Emmanuel Vertilaire with the Pitit Desalin party, and Augustine Smith with the EDE Red political party. Regine Abraham and Frinel Joseph are the two non-voting observers who are representing the interfaith community and civil society, respectively. The Montana Accord is a coalition of civil society, grassroots organizations, political parties, and individuals. They are represented on the Presidential Council by Fritz Alphonse. He is an entrepreneur, economist, and author, as well as the president of the Haitian Institute of Public Policies. He used to serve as head of the Central Bank of Haiti and president of the Chamber of Commerce of the Northeast Department in Haiti. He was also Haiti's prime minister in 2016, leading a caretaker government while elections were taking place. Fanmi Lavalas is the party of former Haitian President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. It's a grassroots political organization. Their nomination, Leslie Voltaire, is an architect and urban planner. He is the former Minister of Education and Minister of Haitians Abroad. He also served as Special Envoy to the UN and Chief of Staff to President Aristide. The private sector was also given a voting seat on the Presidential Council. It will be represented by Laurent St-Cyr. He has expertise in the insurance sector and experience as a member of the board of directors of various chambers of commerce and as president of Haiti's Chamber of Commerce. Petit Desalin is a political party led by former Senator Jean-Charles Moïse. Initially, the party rejected the offer to have a seat on the council, allying with Guy Philippe, a former rebel leader involved in the coup that ousted President Aristide in 2004. Jean-Charles Moïse preferred a three-person council that included Philippe. Ultimately, the party did end up submitting a nominee to represent them on this presidential council, Emmanuel Vertilaire, a lawyer with a master's degree in criminology and anti-corruption who served as a judge. In leaked audio posted to YouTube, Philippe and Moïse can be heard arguing over Russia's alleged support for Petit Desalin's participation in this transitional council. This goes to show how other foreign powers are manipulating the situation in Haiti. Philippe shared a video message on social media on March 22nd, criticizing his former ally without mentioning him by name. It's a shame that some men and women have sold out, knowing that the CARICOM Accord will not and cannot change anything in the crisis. The December 21st Accord is an agreement signed by Prime Minister Ariel Henry and representatives of various political parties in 2022 to promote national dialogue and facilitate elections by the end of 2023. This group is being represented by Gerald Gilles. He is a surgeon and former senator. He is also a former advisor to Ariel Henry and the leader of another political party, the New Orientation United to Free Haiti. The January 30 Collective is a consortium of political parties, including the PHTK. Their nomination for the Presidential Council is Edgard Leblanc. Fils is an engineer with a background in civil administration. He is a former senator and president of the Senate. Our last voting seat on the Presidential Council represents the Red EDE political party. It's a party led by former Prime Minister Claude Joseph, who was also implicated in Jovenel Moïse's assassination. They are represented by Smith Augustine. He served as Haiti's ambassador to the Dominican Republic. He has a PhD in sociology, focused on Latin America and the Caribbean. Smith replaced former nominee Dominique Dupuis, an UNESCO ambassador who announced that she was resigning following political attacks and death threats. With her resignation, there is not a single woman with voting power on the Presidential Council. The two non-voting observing members are representing REN and civil society. In English, REN roughly translates to the Rally for a National Accord, and they represent the religious community. They are represented on the Presidential Council by Regine Abraham, who has a long career in international development and environmental policy. She is an agronomist who has worked with the World Bank and European Union. Frinel Joseph is representing civil society. He is a pastor with a PhD in theology who served as a former electoral advisor and treasurer of Haiti's Electoral Council. So this is our Presidential Council, and on Friday, April 12, 2024, a decree in Haiti's official newspaper is published. It outlines essentially the powers that the Presidential Council has given itself, with some last-minute changes by Ariel Henry. These alterations are largely seen as a power grab by Ariel Henry. His change would have allowed him to stay in power not only after the Presidential Council was inaugurated, but also until a Council of Ministers and a new Prime Minister was selected. A day later, the members of the Presidential Council came out with a statement rejecting Henry's modified decree. Finally, on April 24th, Henry officially submitted his resignation, and on April 25th, the Presidential Council was sworn in. I'll analyze the decree and the powers of the Council in detail in another video, but I'll give a few critiques of the Transitional Presidential Council here now. Jean-Charles Moïse, leader of the Pitit Desalin party, first labeled the Presidential Council as a seven-headed serpent when he initially rejected the offer for the party to have a seat at the table. It is also being referred to by Haitians as the seven-headed snake or dragon. The main critique is that this is not a Haitian-led or Haitian-owned process. These are buzzwords being used by mostly foreign powers to dress up their continued manipulation of Haitian affairs. They are using these words because they sound good. These words make it seem like the Presidential Council is an idea of the Haitian people and that its actions have the support and buy-in of the Haitian people. This is simply not true. It appears that we only have this Presidential Council because some Haitian stakeholders believe that their only pathway to leadership is through the U.S. State Department. This is a reasonable belief, given the role that the United States has played in manipulating the Haitian government in the past. However, it is unfortunate because the leaders of Haiti should be beholden to the people of Haiti, not foreign governments. But as we have seen over the past few weeks, the only Haitian voices heard were the ones that the core group invited to be a part of the discussions. We can see from the March 11 outcome declaration that the priorities of the Council are not in full alignment with the needs of the Haitian people and impose an armed intervention that many Haitians do not want. This is the second major critique of the Council. Even Kenya appeared to try and reverse the deployment. After Henry tendered his resignation, a representative of the Kenya Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced on March 12th that Kenya was suspending the deployment. But after a call from the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, the Kenya president reversed course and said that Kenya would send officers to Haiti once a government was in place. As Amnesty International stated, military solutions and external interventions have failed to address the root causes of the crisis, and far from leading to sustainable stability, they have left a lasting legacy of human rights violations and impunity. As far as the composition of the Council, there are no women with voting power on the Council, which begs the question of why the same actors that constantly cry out for women's rights to be upheld and for women's inclusion and peace processes globally have neglected to require gender parity on the Council. They made sure that they got their armed intervention, but they didn't meaningfully secure women's participation in Haiti. Lastly, it's important to note that PHTK allies occupy 3 of 7 seats. Recall that PHTK is the party of Michel Martelly, the president installed in Haiti after election manipulation at the hands of the core group. Martelly then went on to essentially handpick Jovenel Moïse to be the next president, who then selected Ariel Henry. Already, we see these actors banding together to abuse their power and make decisions that directly contradict the very rules that they put in place.
ultimately, the formation of a council, a presidential council, is but one step in a much longer process. And right now, it's been taking place with almost total secrecy and a lack of transparency. The only announcements have been made by foreign leaders and in English. So there's really no way for the broader Haitian population to engage in that process in a meaningful way. And that is going to have repercussions, because whatever comes out of it is going to face a legitimacy crisis from day one because of the process that has been put in place by those external actors.
Conseil et cette membre me trouve son insulte pour la population haïtienne, me trouve son insulte pour finir avec pays. Pays a te gen un gouvernement monocéphale qui te gen Ariel simplement te pose problème. Et nous-mêmes, dans notre nation, on a toujours gen deux têtes, qui c'est un gouvernement bicéphale, un premier ministre avec le président. Mais c'est bien malheureux, pour pouvoir moun yo vle faire crise sous crise pour mettre Haïti dans ténèbres ou bien dans sombre pour caser pays yo ba nous conseil ça parce que pas bon pour pays.
Because of the way the council and the governing framework was developed behind closed doors and at the direction and under the control of the core group, it's unclear how much agency the presidential council actually has. The council hasn't been in power for 3 full weeks, and already things appear to be breaking down. Factions have formed, rules and powers are being changed, and in the meantime, the Haitian people are suffering. Last week, 17 people were killed as heavy rains flooded thousands of homes. Haitians need a functioning government that can build and improve infrastructure and respond to natural disasters. Unfortunately, the government currently in place is too busy infighting to address the nation's needs. Things might be better if this council and governing framework wasn't forced on the Haitian people by foreign actors that have their own agendas. I'm going to end this video with a clip from a US State Department press briefing on Haiti. Some really excellent questions were asked by journalists, and I encourage you to pay attention to how foreign coercion, manipulation, and control is being packaged. How already blame is being shifted to CARICOM for orchestrating Haiti's government transition, even though we know that the heavy weights in the room actually calling the shots are the United States, Canada, France, and Brazil, the key members of the core group. The bottom line is that Haitians deserve a functioning government that is free from the imposition of foreign powers, and they deserve a government that represents them and is working in their best interests. The survival of this nation, the world's first free Black republic, depends on it. Stay tuned for the next episode of Haiti Watch.
Could you give us some insight as to when exactly and why U.S. decided to drop the Haitian Prime Minister Henry? Do you think he had lost total legitimacy? And then related to that, the gang leaders precisely requested his resignation. And so in a way, have you conceded to the gang leaders here?
So first of all, I would say it's not a question for the United States making a decision. It's not something for us to dictate or in any way prescribe to the Haitian people. If you look at the background and the context, Prime Minister Henry has always been a transitional figure. If you look at the way in which he came into office, the tragic circumstances of the assassination of the president, we have always called, along with Haitian civil society and Haitian political leaders, for a transition to free and fair elections and a transition to democracy, which of course requires stable security in which you can hold elections. But it did become clear, not to the United States, but to members of CARICOM, to members of Haitian civil society, to a number of Haitians, that the political situation had become untenable over the past few days. And that's why you saw this meeting yesterday in Jamaica, where members of CARICOM engaged with the United States and with representatives of the Canadian government and other governments in the region, but most importantly, with Haitians themselves. There were a number of Haitian civil society representatives who joined the meeting via Zoom to participate in these talks about the future of Haiti. And it was ultimately these Haitian civil society representatives that agreed that they would appoint members of a presidential transition council to pave a way forward.
Okay, and what gives you the confidence that, because you appear to be fairly confident that they'll be able to appoint a new prime minister, interim prime minister, you didn't say it, but in a couple of weeks or maybe a few months or what have you. What gives you the confidence that this new council will be able to, in fact, agree? I mean, this is a little bit following up on the question that was asked. Given that, I mean, precisely in all these years, and despite all of Henry's efforts, there was no consensus at all with either political parties or the opposition or civil society. What do you think happened? What gives you the confidence that this time around it's going to work?
So again, I can't speak for the members of Haitian civil society and representatives of the Haitian people who will ultimately appoint the members of the Transitional Council, and I can't speak to what the members of the Transitional Council will do. Ultimately, these are decisions for Haiti to make, and decisions that Haiti needs to make. But I will say what the Secretary heard in the room yesterday was, one, a recognition of how serious the situation is. A recognition not just from CARICOM leaders, but a recognition from those representatives of Haitian civil society of how serious the situation is and how that required compromise on achieving a path forward. And so I think everyone recognizes that the stagnation and failure to compromise that we have seen over the past few months, over the past few years, have led to this untenable political situation and untenable security situation, and that's why they need to make these compromises going forward. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions about what will happen, but what we heard was a recognition that they did need a way to break through this logjam and move forward. That's what we support. That's what members of CARICOM support. That's what other Western Hemisphere governments who are represented in the room support. Ultimately, of course, they will have to be the ones that make that decision. Let me make sure. This is a Haiti. Is any more from Haiti? Yeah, Ryan. We'll finish on Haiti before we go to anything else.
Yeah, to follow up on his point about the resignation of Ariel Henry, after Moïse's assassination, Henry was plausibly linked to it via phone calls and others, and was not in line to take power, but it was the U.S. and the core group that kind of recognized him and pressured Claude Joseph to take power. He was seen as illegitimate at the time, called a de facto prime minister. In retrospect, was it a mistake to have pushed Joseph aside or pushed anybody aside for Henri, given that Henri now, a couple years later, is out after a failed...
So ultimately, that wasn't a decision for the United States, and what happens now is not a decision for the United States.
The U.S. and the core group made the decision by recognizing it.
We will continue. Our goal all along has been a transition to democracy and trying to achieve a stable security situation on the ground so that Haitian political leaders have the room to make the tough choices they need to make so they can transition to democracy and have free and fair elections that aren't marred by gang violence. So that was our goal when the president was assassinated. That continues to be our goal today. But ultimately, as I said, these are decisions that Haitians have to make, that the United States and other countries in the region, members of CARICOM and other countries cannot make for them. They're decisions that ultimately they have to make. We will always make our decisions about when and how we can recognize governments, but when it comes to the disposition of governments in Haiti, those are questions for Haitians.
But then why endorse a foreign intervention of troops from outside of Haiti to come in? Like in 2004, 2010, 2021, the State Department, the core group, got their way when it came to who would form the Haitian government. That's setting aside the occupations and invasions of the past. What makes you confident that this time it's going to work? So all the other times it did.
So first of all, I'd say that the multinational security support mission will be there at the invitation of the Haitian government. That is a key prerequisite for their deployment. It's what
you guys just made that government in Jamaica.
But it's what the hold on. It's what the Kenyan government said in their statement, that they have to have a government that has invited them with which they can collaborate. And it's why they're looking for the appointment of this Presidential Transition Council and ultimately a new prime minister and ultimately a new government. But when it comes to what just happened in Jamaica, again, this was a collaboration of CARICOM leaders, Haitian civil society, the United States, Canada, France, Mexico, Brazil, all of whom have an interest in seeing stability and all of whom have the same goal, which is to address the immediate security situation on the ground, restore calm, restore peace, restore law and order for Haitians, and then establish the conditions in which free and fair elections can take place. That is our only goal. It's what we've been trying to achieve from the beginning. It's what we're continuing to try to achieve.
Are there any Haitians that the U.S. would not allow to come to power through that process?
There's not a question of the United States allowing anyone to come to power. Ultimately, as I said, that is a question for the Haitian people. All right, any more before we go? Any more on Haiti?